Family, it's God I Seer. Just checking back in with y'all. Today I wanted to just talk about 5 ways to receive spiritual messages or spiritual downloads. What do I mean by spiritual messages? Spiritual messages can come from ancestors. They can come from spirit guides, ascended masters, or your higher self can be trying to communicate with you directly. Also, there are galactic beings making contact with some of us. And if you have a higher mission here and you know you somebody that's supposed to be receiving these messages, then more than likely spirit is trying to get your attention in one way or another. And again, I think I mentioned also spirit guides. Spirit guides will try to get your attention. Now, spirit guides and ancestors, they can be the same, but they're not necessarily the same thing. But I'm gonna get right into it. 5 ways to receive spiritual messages or receive message from spirit. Okay, so let's jump in. The number one way to receive spiritual messages or messages from your spirit guides, ancestors, angels, galactic beings. Number 1 is to shut the fuck up. Now, what do I mean by that? Be silent. And when I say that, I don't necessarily just mean shut the fuck up, be quiet in terms of talking. I'm saying be silent in terms of thinking as well. Now, how do you do that? The first thing you need to do is you need to turn off all distractions, because your distractions around you will prevent any type of spiritual contact, or spirit could be trying to contact you and bring you a message, but because you got so much going on inside your mind, you just always just talking, worrying, stressing, they can't get to you like that. If you have a lot of clutter in your mind, spirit can't reach you in that way. It's almost like, imagine yourself, imagine a forest. Imagine you are on one side of the forest and there's a rescue team trying to get to you, and they on the whole opposite side of the forest. There are so many trees, lakes, rivers, animals in between you and the rescue team that it's hard for them to get to you, because they have to get through all of that in order to reach you. It makes it harder for them to get to you because of what they have to maneuver through. So you have to turn down the noise, you know? Some people say they would like to receive messages and downloads from spirit or from source, but yet, they're just so full of chatter. They're full of worrying. Mentally, your mind is always racing. Your thoughts are always going and going and going and going, and you can't receive these messages because you're overthinking. And I know that can be hard to do. So that's way number 1, is to be silent, is to shut the fuck up. And you can be silent by, again, removing the clutter from your mind. How do you do that? Once again, you need to turn off the distractions wherever you are. You know what I'm saying? You need to just take a moment to absorb yourself in the moment without even thinking about anything. Don't even think. Don't think about anything. If a thought comes to your mind, allow it to flow. Allow that thought to come and go. You know, thoughts gonna come and go. That's just how it is. But the mind can also become your enemy if you let it. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be able to be quiet. The reason why your mind is always racing is because you're always creating problems within your own mind. You creating these things. You know what I'm saying? You thinking about which bill you gotta pay. Oh, you know, you gotta pick the kids up from school. Oh, well, what if this happened? My car needs fixed. There's just so many things in this physical reality that always has your attention. So sometimes you have to just let it all go. You know what? You can't control most of this shit anyway. It ain't a damn thing that's thinking about shit ain't gonna fix it anyway. So you have to be silent, be quiet, because you constantly worrying. If you would just shut the fuck up inside your mind and stop worrying and doing all this complaining, then once you're quiet, your spirit guides, angels, or ancestors can reach you. And then they could possibly bring you a solution to the problem. But you can't even hear the solution because you're always overthinking. So that's number one, is to shut the fuck up. Okay, 5 ways to receive spiritual messages. Number 2 is to be alone. The reason why it's very, very important to be alone is because, as I learned early on in my journey, years ago, when I first started making contact with the spirit realm, when I started receiving channels and downloads, and I was being visited by ancestors and spirits, the one thing that I had to learn, as you will learn if you don't already know, is you have to be alone. Why? Because when you always have people around you and you're in an environment that is noisy, or you're around people that's just toxic, or you just around people in general that's not necessarily vibrating at the same level as you, the spirits will not come to you. You know what I'm saying? Your spirit guides, your angels, whoever, these beings that are trying to contact you, they won't come to you in most cases if you're not alone first. Because 9 times out of 10, the company that you keep, they don't fuck with them. So when you're around, as long as you're around them, your angels, your spirit guides can't get to you, because they not coming around all that. You have to be in a space where your vibration is high. You have to be in an environment where the vibration is high enough for them to come to you. The frequency and the vibration in your environment has to be at a certain level for spirits to even reach you. If you vibrating too low, then they can't even get to you. You have to raise your vibration. So even though your vibration, you may have raised your vibration, it might be high. You might have done enough work to where you can receive messages. But if you got people around you who are vibrating low, they're going to contaminate the environment. And spirit ain't coming in there with all that shit. You know what I'm saying? They not the spirit guides and the ancestors that's trying to come to you and help you, you know. So that's another thing. You know what I'm saying? So if you living in a toxic situation, you have to go somewhere where you can be alone. You know, find somewhere where you can get outside in nature and be alone. That's one of the easiest places to go and be alone and receive messages is nature. You can receive so many downloads because the divine is going to communicate with you. You have to find a space to be alone, wherever that may be. And, you know, again, it's like spirit ain't gonna come to you when you got all that shit around you, or when you got people around you that are just not vibrating at your level or vibrating at a high enough level. They don't come around because they don't rock with everybody that you rock with, if that makes sense. So that's number 2, is to be alone. Okay, let's get to number 3. Number 3 is the number 3 way to receive messages from spirit or receive spiritual messages is to do spiritual cleanse, to spiritually cleanse yourself. What is spiritually cleansing? Well, spiritual cleanse can be, there's many ways to spiritually cleanse yourself. You can, there's certain things you can use to cleanse your environment. I know everybody know about saging and all that. That can help. Palo Santos can help smudging your space. But you want to make sure that you are thoroughly cleansed. So a spiritual bath can be of your benefit. That can help rid you of spiritual debris. It can help cleanse away spiritual blockages. by doing spiritual baths, by spiritually cleansing. You can spiritually cleanse once again by finding a space in nature. Go somewhere where there's water. Water has the cleansing element to it. Find some natural running water. If you can, find a creek. Go by a lake. You can take off your shoes, your socks, and just and walk in that creek. And if you really want to get down to it, depending on the seasons, you can take off all your clothes. Get in that creek, because you can allow the element of water to cleanse you. You can allow Mother Nature to cleanse you. Water is a cleanser. Also, getting direct sunlight will strengthen your aura. So after you bathe in that water, get out and get you some direct sunlight, because direct sunlight, it activates your melanin and in turn raises your vibration. Remember, we're dealing with the 666, which is 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons, which is carbon, which is melanin. Your inner beast. You awaken. You awaken that. You awaken that side of you. That side of you is only just your melanin waking up. So again, you want to spiritually cleanse. Those are some ways. And the reason why you should spiritually cleanse to receive messages is because if your aura is dirty, if you haven't spiritually cleansed yourself, or you have poor spiritual hygiene, spirits can't reach you. Again, that means that your frequency, or you're vibrating too low. Okay? It's like when you are in certain environments, or you carrying around a lot of negative energy or trauma. You might have been sexually involved, you done had multiple sexual partners, but you didn't do no cleanse. You didn't do a cleanse, in between those partners. So not only are you carrying your own baggage, but you're carrying the toxic energy that you picked up from those others through sexual contact or just contact in general. So anytime you sexually involved with people, you need to make sure that you're doing a thorough cleanse, so that you're not just carrying around all of their energy. Because what happens is, how can your ancestors communicate with you and they don't even recognize you because your energy signature is off? So now if you carrying the energy signature of another person, then you attracting their spirits. You attracting the energy and spirits that's trying to contact them. So if your spirit guides, angels, ancestors, galactic beings are trying to make contact with you, or your higher self trying to make contact with you, and you haven't done any type of spiritual cleansing, then it's going to be hard for you to receive spiritual messages, receive messages from the spirit realm. Messages can come from so many sources, but the source is coming from spirit. Anything on that side, and really all of this comes from within you. And you can't get the message because if you have not spiritually cleansed, your aura is weakened. Your aura is dark. You have energy blockages there, which means that your frequency, and when you have that, your frequency is low, which I spoke about before. Spirit can't reach you if you're vibrating at a low level. So you have to make sure that you are energetically pure, spiritually pure. Again, spiritual baths, smoke, Palo Santos, blue sage, white sage, whatever y'all like to burn. Get you some myrrh. Frankincense and myrrh will help clear and cleanse your environment, your space. That'll help set the tone. But you want to make sure your own energy, your person is clean and cleansed. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I might come up with another one on different methods, different baths, and make sure you can getting out in nature is the best way. Getting outside and allowing the elements to cleanse you is very, very powerful. Again, get to a creek, get you some natural sunlight, Also, you can spiritually cleanse if you have any type of sadness, any type of anger or resentment that's still pent up in you that you've been holding on to. You need a release. You know what I'm saying? You should find that silent moment, and if you can, you should let it out. Cry. Because crying is a release. Again, water is a natural cleanser. So whenever, and the eyes are the windows to the soul. So whenever you cry, those tears, which are water, represent a cleansing of the soul. Because the eyes are the windows to the soul. So that helps cleanse you as well by releasing these things so that you can be open to receive these messages and these downloads. And this is especially for my intuitive people, teachers and healers and artists, people who, and this is for everyone. Everyone has spirit guides. Everyone has entities and guidance from the other side trying to make contact with you. But if you're very intuitive, or you're very connected to the divine, connected to spirit or source, you know you especially have to be open, because spirit is definitely trying to contact you, because you got a higher calling. You're a chosen one. You're a star seed. So you definitely have to make sure you can receive your messages. So that was way number 3. Okay, so what is number 4? Number 4 of the ways to receive spiritual messages or receive messages from source. Number 4 is to be receptive. You have to be receptive. And what do I mean by this? Well, first of all, I don't care what you think you know as it pertains to spiritual messages and receiving contact. First of all, some people think that when they receive a spiritual message that it's going to be, you're going to hear a voice, or somebody's going to be talking, or they're just going to come and just start talking. Yes, that's very possible. If you really tapped in, you can hear that. But that's not always the case. So when I say to be receptive, I mean you have to be open to receiving messages in any type of way that spirit will bring you a message. And what I mean by this is that don't just assume that they're going to contact you in this way. They may contact you in a way totally different than the way that you expected. That's a lot of times that's how they get your attention. This is a lot of times how the energy, the source energy or spirit gets your attention. Communicating through symbols. You have to be able to recognize symbols. For example, I'm going to give you an example. Let's just say that you are part of a group and you realize that within this group that you're in, you feel like there's somebody in this group, you can't put your finger on it, but you feel like somebody in this group has it out for you. You know what I'm saying? Or it can be amongst your little circle of so-called friends. You might feel like you just feel like something is wrong. Something is off. You don't like the energy or the vibe that you're getting from somebody that's in your friend group. So you might ask spirit to show you if these people are really genuine, or show you if there's an issue with any of these people. And so while you waiting to hear back from spirit to give you an answer, you might be thinking that spirit is going to just talk to you and tell you what it is. But then you might be going for a walk, and you stumble across a snake along your path while you out walking. Or you might have a dream, and in that dream, you come into contact with a snake that is trying to maliciously attack you. Well, there goes your answer. That's your ancestors, that's your guides responding to your question. They didn't come and just tell you verbally. They showed you that there's a snake in your circle. So they'll communicate with you in those ways. You know what I'm saying? Or you could be driving. You might look and notice that you might see 555 on the clock. 111, 222. those are spirit communicating to you through numbers. And it's up to you to go a step further, because see, when people see repeating numbers now, a lot more people are seeing them now because of the shift in vibration on the planet. So people who couldn't see them before, like, you got a lot of people that's able to see it now. But I want people to know this about seeing angel numbers and spirit guides. When your spirit is communicating to you, if you see those numbers, it's your duty to go in and do your own research and due diligence and figure out what do these numbers mean. Because numbers have meanings, you know. For example, number 1 can represent independence, the beginning of a cycle, leadership, and so forth. Number 2 can symbolize duality, hot and cold, darkness and light, partnerships, relationships, balance. Those are just some examples. So then you go in and you do the research and you go deeper. You have to you just don't see it and say, oh, that's spirit trying to communicate with me, and then just go on about your way. No. The work of a divine being, and I mean, everybody don't go this hard with it, but you're supposed to investigate when spirit communicate. You don't just stop there, especially if you consider yourself God, if you consider yourself a divine being, if you consider yourself a spiritual master of some sort, or whatever you consider yourself. It don't even matter who, whatever, fuck the titles. My point is, you are someone of importance here. You came here to do something, and you know that you're highly spiritual. Spirit expect you to go a little harder. If you're a chosen one, you're going to have to dig a bit deeper than just seeing some numbers on the clock and think that that's just going to be, that's your answers. But it's up to you to go deeper and figure out what the hell do these numbers mean? Then when you figure out what they mean, you have to ask another question. What does this mean for me in my situation? That's what you got to ask. So those are certain ways that spirit will communicate with you, through dreams and symbols, sometimes messages. But if your first eye isn't open enough and you're not receptive enough, you'll miss the message when they're trying to tell you. So this is what I mean when I say be receptive. So the fifth way, the last and final way that I'm going to list here today is number 5 of ways to receive spiritual messages and downloads. Number 5 is to fast or take, and when I say fast, you don't have to do like days at a time. It can be intermittent fasting. But what you need to do is you need to do some sort of fast. This is a way. I'm not saying you have to, but this is a very surefire way to receive messages from spirit. Why you should fast is because, especially if you somebody, now if you already eating high vibrational foods, if you're eating plants, you're eating electric foods, you know what I'm saying? You're not eating a lot of processed shit, especially that heavy meat. If you eat a lot of meat, you should definitely fast to receive message from spirit, because what meat does is it weighs down the body. Your body should be light. Spirit wants your body to be light body. So if you eat a lot of red meat, that your energy is being used up trying to digest all of that meat. And when your energy is going toward that, it lowers your vibration, because your energy can't go toward sending the signal out to make contact with spirit. So your physical body contains life force energy. There's always energy flowing through your physical body. You are that energy. So what you put inside of your physical body can affect the vibrations that you are and the vibrational frequency of what you attract. And if you have spirit guides, if you have other galactic beings, or even if you have a soulmate or a twin trying to telepathically communicate with you, and you eating all this junk, you eating all this meat, and you never taking time to cleanse or fast, it's going to be hard for you to receive messages. See, when you fast, what it does is it changes the molecular structure in your body. Your cells actually start to come alive. And when you fast, when I say fast, I mean, you can fast, do 12-hour fast every day or something. Do 12-hour fast, or, you can go 16 hours. You know, if you want to go longer, that's cool. But then when you do eat lighter. If you eat a lot of meat, again, that's going to weigh down your energy. It's heavy on you. Cause the first thing you want to do, you get real sluggish when you eating all of that shit and you want to go lay down and you can't really do anything. So my advice is, you don't have to, when you fasting, you don't have to necessarily just not eat at all. But if you're going to when you at least should be fasting from eating meat, especially red meat and processed meat. And you should, when you do eat, try some fresh green pressed juices, or drink some, try some green smoothies. You know what I'm saying? Go with some fruit, especially melon, because melon activates melanin. Melanin. There's a direct correlation. They wonder why they say they do the stereotype shit. Oh, black people love watermelon. Yeah, we do. You damn right we do, because we know that watermelon activates the melanin. You see those black seeds? Come on, man. Fuck what they talking about. This is our shit. We connected to nature. So you should definitely fast. Fasting raises your frequency. It raises your vibration. Or at least changing or taking a break from what it is that you eat. I'm telling you, because what goes in your body directly affects your spirit. Your body is your temple. And if spirit is trying to make contact with you, and your energy is weighed down from eating all that heavy food and all that junk, that's going to be another way that spirit can't contact with you. And I promise you, if you pay attention, y'all probably done seen people talk about this. Anybody who's made contact with spirit, anybody who's done any type of spiritual divine work, will tell you that some of their most divine, profound experiences came during a time when they were fasting, or they were on some sort of a cleanse, or some sort of a detox, or they were just simply eating a lot of plant-based foods. Like, load up on that, because that's energy. I'm not saying don't eat, because the food can actually electrify your body, which in turn sends out an electromagnetic signal that can be picked up by angels, spirit guides, and ancestors of the highest vibration. High vibrational foods attract higher frequency spirits, the kind that's going to come and show you things that you may not know, that's going to guide you. But when you eating all that bullshit, processed sugar, beef, all that shit, now when you eating processed meat, and the animal that was murdered, you know what I'm saying? That's blood. And remember, blood contains energy, DNA. So whatever that animal was feeling when it got killed or when it got murdered, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred. You're going to feel that energy too when you consume that food. And what you're going to attract is lower level spirits, and the kind you don't want to see. So again, by fasting and by loading up on dark leafy green foods, electric foods, melons, fruits, you know what I'm saying? You're going to be able to raise your frequency up, and you're going to naturally, a lot of times you will naturally have spiritual experiences if you know how to pay attention when you cleansing, or when you loading up on those electric foods. You can feel it. You can feel it within your being. You can feel a lot of parts of you activating that you didn't know even existed. So I challenge anybody who's and this even go for any of the other guys that might be spiritual teachers or whatnot. I don't know, the ones that do still eat meat, as advanced as you may be, I challenge you to just take a break from that and just watch how much more advanced your spiritual downloads and contact will increase. So again, this was 5 ways to receive messages from spirit or receive spiritual messages. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video. Again, if you listening, please share this. I don't care, just share the link. We need to make sure, we keep this information coming. Again, this is only the beginning. Visit thehouseofancestors.com. And again, until next time, this is God I Seer, signing off.